Cascade Hoops Talk, bringing the world NAIA basketball one podcast at a time. Cascade Hoops Talk, Billy D. Happy Thursday. Hope everybody's doing well. Hey, today we have Carter Kent. Carter Kent is that guy. He's that guy that threw that 85-foot pass for when Concordia beat Briarcliff. He's that guy that led the Bulldogs to the Final Eight in the national tournament. And Carter Kent's also that guy who's an excellent student, an academic All-American, and he's heading off to vet school. Amazing young man. You're really going to enjoy the interview. Let's give it a listen to Carter Kent, Concordia Bulldog basketball. Cascade Hoops Talk, Billy D. Hey, I have Carter Kent from the Concordia Bulldogs. Thank you, Carter, for being on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Billy.
You know, Carter, before we start, I want to talk to you about your athletic career, but I want to tell you congratulations on a great season for the Bulldogs. It was a little bit of a dream season, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, it was a great experience throughout. Just being able to get to where we got, and just all those memories throughout the season. We had some crazy moments. I think it all was something that I couldn't have asked for anything better for last season. So.
And Carter, I definitely want to talk about those moments, but I want to go back just a little bit. You know, you went to Crete High School. You played with Josiah Gardner there, and then Clay Uher. Is that how you say his last name?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. But you were also. I really want to ask you this. You were. I don't take this wrong. I don't know but you were almost a better baseball player than you were a basketball player, according to your stats. At any rate, you were a very good baseball player, weren't you?
Yeah, I was. I would say. Growing up, I think baseball was more of it was my natural sport, I would say. I think so. My grandpa played in the minors, and he was a really good he was a good athlete in high school just throughout, but he was a great baseball player, and I think I didn't put as much work into baseball when I was younger, and it was just kind of my natural sport, but obviously both basketball and baseball, as I got older, I started putting a lot into it, but for both sports. But I mean, I really enjoyed baseball throughout high school, and I had some good memories to that too. So,
assuming that the stats I found were right, you had a really high on base percentage, almost 500. You had a very good batting average. But here's Carter. This is what I thought was I couldn't believe this. I was telling everybody I met last night. You had 261 at bats in high school. You struck out 12 times.
Yeah,
you must have been.
I didn't strike out much.
That's amazing, though, especially in high school.
Yep. So, I would do leadoff. I would hit leadoff. I would hit second. I'd hit third, and yeah, I would only have maybe 5 strikeouts in 1 year. I think so. Yeah, I didn't strike out much.
Did you get recruited to play baseball anywhere?
I did. I got recruited from some local colleges, but I played fall ball my senior year of high school because I really kind of wanted to get my name out. But around the time I was playing fall ball, I was getting recruited for basketball from that summer of playing basketball. So it was kind of a tough spot because I kind of wanted to dial down a decision, and my fall ball coach kind of wanted me to go JUCO and then try to go somewhere. So I kind of just decided that I was just going to take the kind of stable route and do basketball. But yeah, I did get recruited. I thought I had both at Concordia. They said I could play both if I wanted to, but they said that it was just, I mean, it's so much work that it wasn't, I didn't think it was worth it.
Playing one sport in college is a grind. Oh yeah, that would have been. So you also, if what I read is correct, you're Crete High School's all-time scoring leader. Is that correct as well?
Yes. Yep.
So
yes,
you had a really good So your high school athletic career was really rewarding, and then you also found time to be the valedictorian.
Yes, that's correct. I had some great memories throughout high school, and I'd say there was a lot of work that got put into it throughout. But I'm very thankful for my time at Crete, and I thought it was kind of that growing up that was a dream come true, because when I was growing up, I always just thought about playing for, your local town and everything. And so seeing where we went for basketball in high school, and just having some great seasons and great memories, I was really appreciative of that.
Carter, did Doane recruit you? Isn't Doane a lot closer to where you grew up?
Yeah, so I'm from Crete, and Doane's actually in Crete. So
Okay.
I was all around Doane through growing up. It was kind of, that was where we would go and play pickup games and everything with the kids around town. So it's right smack dab in Crete. So it's pretty close. But yeah, Doane did recruit me, and there was nothing bad between it or anything.
Hmm.
I decided that I kind of wanted to go out of Crete and
Hmm.
be a little away from Crete, but not too far away that I couldn't come back, because you know, I love being around there, and I thought that it'd be good maybe to go somewhere else for a little bit, and then but be close enough to come back home and stuff. So
Yeah,
I ultimately made that decision. Yeah.
that makes sense. So before we leave your high school, was I want to, you played on at Concordia with Clay Uher, who was your
hmm
teammate. What was that
hmm
like to play with a high school teammate? And then I'm going to ask you about playing against Josiah Gardner, who was also your high school teammate.
So first, with playing with Clay, it was actually a really cool situation, because um, we kind of didn't know that we were going to go to the same college, but we knew we were kind of talking, but both to Concordia, and then actually my friend Jonah Wine, he's the running back for Concordia, and he went to Crete as well. And so I was really good friends with both of those guys growing up. And so I found out Jonah was going to go to Concordia, and I was like, oh, I really like, I'm really interested as well. And then it kind of just happened where Clay kind of said that he was going to go, and then I decided as well. And I thought it was pretty cool to see that we were going to still be together even after high school, just because of how people go their separate ways and
Yeah.
everything. But it's cool, because I feel like Clay, I mean, we've played together since we were third grade. I feel like we kind of have, I mean, that just that chemistry. Like we expect we expect things from each other without even needing to say it. And I think we just had a really good bond throughout, and throughout college, it was just something that we would always kind of had that connection, which was nice.
And then Josiah Gardner, I think he was a year or two younger than you in high school, but
hmm
you played against him over at Doane. Did you that give you a little extra motivation when you went up against him?
I he's a super nice kid. He's super nice. He's a great guy. But so he was a sophomore when I was a senior, so I played 2 years with him. And he it was it was cool to see just how far he's come, because I mean, from where he was as a sophomore when I was a senior, he was about 6'1", 6'2" at that time. And now he's grown so much, and he's gotten even so much more athletic than he already was. And I was thinking when he was a sophomore how athletic he was. So it was definitely fun to play against him, just because there's a lot of people around Crete that still were keeping up with us, and so it was fun playing him. It was fun talking to him, just because I hadn't talked to him for a while. But yeah, I'm glad he's back, and I'm glad he's enjoying. He said he's really enjoying his time at Doane, so I'm really happy for him, and I'm happy where he's going. So.
Yeah, Carter, I got to interview him once. He was GPAC Player of the Week one week, and I reached out to him and I interviewed him. It was a relatively short interview, but you're right.
Mhm.
He's a really nice guy, and he just got better and better throughout this season. He's he's going to continue to have a great career there.
Yes, I agree completely. He's going to be really good.
So at your time at Concordia, you scored almost 1,700 points, fifth leading scorer. You're in the top five with scoring, 3-point shooting. You shot over 35%, seventh in assists. You had really a great career there. I want to go back. I want to start with your sophomore season. You guys went over to Mitchell. Ty Hoagland was still at Dakota Wesleyan, and you won the GPAC championship in the Corn Palace. Was that how special was that?
Oh, I mean, that was an awesome moment. Just, for those seniors too, that year with Brev and Tanner Shuck and Sammy and Chol, they were all it was so cool to make that happen. And I thought that what was so cool about that season was, I mean, in that tournament, there weren't a lot of people that really expected us to go up to the Corn Palace and win that game. And so it was cool because we just went in and we had that kind of mentality where, we're gonna do what we can, and if it happens, it happens. And I feel like we played really free because of that, because there was no expectations. And I think that seeing that place, it was such a crazy environment up there that day, and just winning up there and just that ride back home, and because that was something that hadn't really happened for us and all the guys on the team ever. And so finally reaching that milestone was something pretty special. That it was such a crazy game and everything.
Brevin tells a story about being to the line late in the game and looking up at the rim and it was moving. the place was literally rocking.
Yeah, Brev, he hit some big free throws at the end right there, and it was rocking for sure. I don't remember a better environment playing in, just with how many people there were in there. And it's such a hostile environment too, like playing in the championship at Seward this year. It's nice because, I mean, most of the people there are cheering for you and stuff. But up there, it was everything that something happened is they're going to let you know, which it was a fun time though.
Yeah. And they fully expected to win that game. And Mitchell they really support Dakota Wesleyan. They're a great crowd there. But you always want that as an opponent, right? You don't want to go into an empty gym on the road.
No, exactly. Those are you kind of live for those moments. You want that energy and that environment, because it gets your adrenaline going and it gets you pumped up. And those are the types of games where you come out after and you're just like, what just happened? Because you're so locked in. And those are the most fun games.
And then that year you went to Sioux Falls and you played, actually turned out to be the last game of the tournament. You lost on that Ryan Haskins 3, a game it looked like you were gonna upset Ottawa, and they were able to beat you at the end. So coming into your junior year was a really odd year. It was a kind of a COVID year. You never knew when you were going to play, when you weren't. You guys went 17-9. You fell in that GPAC tournament. That brought you into your senior year. So you knew that you were going to have a lot of talent coming back this season. What did you think the Bulldogs were capable of this season, coming into the season?
I thought we were capable of everything that we accomplished, but obviously, like, you don't want to go in a season and just say if you don't reach to where we reached, then it's a failure. I think those are tough. It's tough to do what we did, and I think there's never a time where you think that you're guaranteed that. And so I think we set goals before the season, and as a team, and our goals were to go undefeated at home, to win the regular season, to win the GPAC title, and then to make at least the Sweet 16. And those were very lofty goals. And we knew that kind of going in, but coach kept saying that he wanted us that we should want to do something that no other Concordia team has done. And that's when the GPAC regular season title. Before, they won the conference before, but not the GPAC.
Right.
And so we kind of had that mindset going in that we were going to, obviously get to the highest point that we could. And I think that we didn't really look at that, I would say. I think we looked more kind of just at each day, just kind of doing what we have always done, and just sticking to that and just holding each other accountable to make sure that we do what needs to be done each day. And I think it was kind of one of those years that we were very senior heavy, and so we've all been there before in terms of a season, so we knew what needed to be done, but we kind of just let the results take care of itself, but we kind of focused on that process each day. I'd say that was the biggest thing.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. The GPAC, everybody knows the GPAC it's always crazy, but it was just really crazy this year. I think there was one or two games separating the top 6 or 7 all season. And so coming down the stretch, I mean, you had to win big games. And one big game you guys had to win. You guys had to beat Briarcliff down the stretch. And then, you threw that full length pass to Tristan. So, you walk out on the court, the play, the odds of it, right? You've been around basketball a long time. This is a high odds play. What were you thinking? What were you thinking as you walked down to the baseline to throw that ball full length? What was going through your head?
Well, right before that, actually. So when we were in the huddle, I was like, did that really just happen again? Because Briarcliff beat us on a buzzer beater my sophomore year, actually.
Yep.
And so I was like, did this really happen again? Are they really going to beat us on another buzzer beater?
Yeah.
And then on the way walking down, I was just I honestly don't really know what I was thinking. I was just kind of like, hopefully this works out. And it was basically one of those moments where you're like, well, here, there's nothing that you can do at this point but just throw it down there and hope for the best. And I still can't believe that actually happened. But yeah, it's just kind of like one of those Hail Mary plays that you just hope that everything works out. But I feel like you don't expect it to really work out just because of the odds of it happening. But one can only hope, and I mean it worked out, which was crazy.
Yeah, and I kind of left out the context because, as you said, I think it was Klein Hesselink hit a tough three. To give them the lead, and that forced you guys into that situation. And most people, myself included, when Klein Hesselink hit that, I thought you were done. I'm sure, and you were probably you said that was what was running through your head too. Did this happen again?
Yep, it's just easy to question that. So we kind of walked over to the huddle, and we were just like we were kind of down, and coach just kind of said, "Hey, there's still a little bit of time left." And then we kind of refocused quick and then just kind of drew up a play and then just hoped that it worked, and it somehow did.
So I don't want to I know you've had to talk about this play a lot, but at what point did you think Tristan had a chance to make that shot?
So when I threw it, immediately I thought I threw it way too far. I was looking at the ball, and so when I threw it, because I threw it as hard as I could, and I was like, that might be too far because it was really high. And then I kind of just followed the ball down, and then I saw Tristan jump, and then he caught it, and then shot the layup, and then it kind of like went around a little bit. It was very slow motion in my eyes, just because it happened so fast. But then when he actually got it, it was kind of a blur after that.
That was.
But I didn't. Yeah, it was crazy.
Your great grandkids are talk about that one, Carter. I mean, that was pretty amazing. I
Oh
remember I
yeah.
was on the road for a game. My friend and I were in a restaurant. We had just gotten out of town for a game, and I think we were sitting in an Applebee's, and ESPN was on, and I'm like, I looked at my friend. I said, "Holy cow, there's Concordia on ESPN." So,
Yeah, it was. There was a lot of emotions in that game too because that was senior night as well, and so what a way to kind of cap off senior night. That was pretty crazy.
and then you ended up winning the GPAC tournament as well. You had another big
Hmm.
battle with Jamestown, a team that you guys just had some heavyweight battles with this season. You beat them in Seward, as you just said, and then you guys had a pretty tough road to Kansas City. You you were able to beat IU Northwest. I don't know if that surprised a lot of people, but then you were going to play a crossroads opponent, Marion. Now
Hmm.
everybody kind of measures themselves against the crossroad. I mean, it's just what happens, right? And so
Hmm.
you were going to play Marion, one of the better teams in the crossroads. What was the team thinking going into that game? What did you feel you had to accomplish to beat Marion? You knew they were good. I know you knew it.
I think that. Well, the biggest, I thought we were, I mean, obviously, we were playing really well at that time. I think against Indiana Northwest, I think even after just that Briarcliff game, I think throughout we kind of just started, we really gained momentum and we were playing really well. After IU Northwest, we shot the ball really well. Both of those games up in Omaha, we shot the ball really well. And I kind of think it was such a quick it was a quick turnaround. So we were once we beat IU Northwest, we weren't looking ahead towards Marion at all. It was all Indian Northwest. And then when we got to Marion after the Northwest game that night, then we knew that they were a great team. We watched them a little bit before our game against Freed Hardman. We kind of went in with that mentality of, we're just going to play, as hard
Mm-hmm.
as we can. We're going to try to play our game. We weren't going to let Marion kind of control how we play, and then if it worked out, it worked out, and if it didn't, so be it. And we kind of had that mentality, and then I think we really came out really hot against Marion right away, and we were kind of like, okay, well we can play with these guys, and then we just kind of controlled our side of the ball, but we knew that Marion was a great team when we were watching them and we saw their scouting report and we saw everything. We knew it was going to be a battle, and we're obviously thankful for how it turned out. But it was a competitive battle throughout that game. Even though the score, like we got up right away and we kind of maintained the score, but um, it was a tough battle, and they played really hard for sure.
Yeah, and that was as you said, you ended up beating them by over 20, but I don't think they were really until the end. They were really completely out of the game. But that
Hmm.
punched your ticket to Kansas City. You had to be pretty excited knowing that this is your last year of Bulldog basketball. You played.
Hmm.
I've got to watch you guys play several times just on video until Kansas City, but I thought the IU Kokomo game was one of the better games I've seen you guys play.
Hmm.
Did you guys were playing really good basketball once you got to Kansas City, or once you got in the tournament, weren't you?
Yeah. Yeah, we were I think we were just really clicking well as a team. We each knew kind of what we needed to do each game, and we had that full faith in each other, that trust. And we didn't really care who did the scoring. We didn't care what who was getting all the shots and everything, but we were taking the open shots for whoever. We were playing well as a unit, as that group of five on the court at each time. I think that we really had that confidence in each other and ourselves, and I think that it really was showing, especially in the tournament. I think we didn't shoot as well both of the games in Kansas City as we did in Omaha, but I think that our style of play, just sharing the ball, the way we kind of play as five, I think is really put us in a good position for whoever we were playing.
Yeah, I thought in Kansas City your guard play, both Sam and AJ Watson, was really strong. Which, I mean, you got to have very, very good guard play when you get up to that level of competition. But your X factor down probably the last half of the season, last third of the season, is Noah Shutt. He just, I mean, it was like he just seemingly came out of nowhere, just becoming. He was one of the better players in that tournament.
Yeah, Noah. So my junior year, his freshman year, you could see what he was going to become, especially through practices in in his freshman year. But seeing that all come out this year was really awesome to see. Noah's he's a great person. He's a great guy. We all think the world of him, and so to see his hard work and just see him play at such a high level was awesome. And I think he's just such a matchup problem, because if you put someone small on him, then he can score at the post. But if you put someone big on him, then he's quick enough to go by him, and he's a great shooter. So I thought that we could cause a lot of matchup problems as a team, and I think he was one of the biggest reasons why, is because teams kind of had to decide how they were gonna guard him, and then that would open up different areas for everyone else on the team, and even for himself. So
the good news is he had a great season. I mean, the bad news for Noah, I mean, he's a great ball player, but he's going to get a lot of attention next season. He's not going to sneak up on anybody.
Yeah. I think he's ready for that. I think it's definitely going to be something that he'll have to figure out, as everyone does. But I think that he's in a great position for success in the future, and I'm excited for him. I'm excited to see what he does, because he's a legit player. He's a great person, and he's a great player.
Yeah, I really like watching him play. I want to ask you about the Talladega game. Probably a bad memory, but at the start of the game, I think they were worried about you guys' 3-point shooting, and you were able to penetrate a lot. And you got up on them early, and then you missed some threes, and then they started packing it in a little bit, and you never could start hitting the threes. That's what seemed to. I just think if you could have hit some of those early threes and kept them from pounding in the paint, you had a much better chance. But they're a really good team, weren't they? Defensively.
Yeah, they were a great team defensively. They played with a lot of intensity, and they were really physical. And I think that, like you said, with a lot of teams that we play that are very good on the defensive end and they're very physical and everything, I think our 3-point shooting is one of the ways that we kind of kept in those games and were able to play against those teams. And I think that, as you saw that night, it just wasn't, the shots weren't falling, and that's kind of, that happens. I don't think that's the sole reason why we lost. I mean, there's obviously a lot of other ways to win a game, but it obviously didn't really help that night when we didn't shoot that well. But no, Talladega is a great team, and they were able to make us miss a lot of those shots just because of how they impose their will on defense. And I think that and they shot the ball really well that game as well. They made a lot of threes, and so I thought that it was obviously a tough game at the end, but looking back, you can't be mad about getting to where we did, and being able to experience all that.
I was talking to Mason Walters a little bit about that. I talked to him the other day, and they, to me at least, they disrupt the perimeter better than anybody I've seen in the country. I mean, the guards never are comfortable. Any shot they do get is rushed.
Yeah, I think that was really good. They were, and it was just hard to get open against them just because of how they played you. And I think that they were really good at getting us to get shots that they want instead of us getting what we want. And I think that was one of their best parts of their defense.
Carter, you played in every game while you were at Concordia. I think you started every game but one.
Yep.
You won 2 GPAC championships. You went to the national tournament twice, got to the Final 8 your senior year. What has it meant to you to be part of the Concordia Bulldogs?
It means so much. And I honestly, it's still, I don't think I realize how much it means until further on down the road. Just because it's crazy to think that it's over. It's crazy to believe that the time's up. But you can't ask for much more. You can't ask for a better group of guys throughout my college career, and I think that's the biggest part. And that's what I've told a lot of people is just I'm going to remember some games. I'm going to remember some of those memories in the games. The biggest thing that I'll miss and just I'll appreciate the most is just those, being around those guys all the time and just having such a great group of guys to be around. I think that you're always around them in college. I mean, when you're in college sport, you are always with those guys. You're always doing activities. You're always going to class with them. You're going to practice every day, weights. You have so much. You're always around them. So it's definitely crazy not to think that that you'll be like that with them again like that. But I think that the greatest thing is the relationships and the people that you meet throughout it all. And I think that though that's going to go further than our playing days. I think we're going to stay in touch. We're going to we're going to be in each other's weddings and everything. And so I think that that's the greatest thing that I'm most thankful for throughout it all. Yes, there's going to be there were great memories, but coach told us this. He said, you're not going to remember those. You're going to remember the bus rides, the time with each other. And I think that's the greatest part of it all.
Well, Carter, I've certainly enjoyed your career. I've said all season long that we've watched Carter Kent go from one of the best players in the GPAC to one of the best players in the country. So I definitely enjoyed your career. Tell us what's next for you.
Yeah, so I got accepted into vet school, so I will be going to University of Nebraska-Lincoln for 2 years, and then I'll go to Iowa State for 2 years. It's a 4-year program, but you do 2 in Lincoln and then 2 in Ames.
Oh, okay.
So, yep. So I could have gone 4 years at other places, but that's the one I chose, and so I'm excited for that next chapter. I'll be going to vet school, and so I'll still be busy, and it's definitely a new chapter of life, but I'm excited for it, and hopefully I'll get to be around a lot of the guys still, which is good.
Yeah. I got to ask you one more question. When did you decide you wanted to be a vet? Were you a young guy?
So my mom is a 7th grade biology teacher, so I kind of was always around animals. We had a lot of animals at my house, but I just think it really hit me in high school, probably about freshman or sophomore year of high school. I went and shadowed our local vet. He's a family friend, and I kind of just fell in love with it there. And then I'd shadow in the summers a little bit throughout high school, and then I work full-time there in the summers now. And so I've been doing that this will be my 4th year full-time, and so I enjoy it. I enjoy the people. I enjoy working with a lot of people every day, and every day is different. It's a new experience each day, which I really enjoy. So,
well, you'll be very successful at it. I think that's pretty exciting for you, Carter. I want to tell you, thanks for being on the show, but also thank you for being part of NAI basketball. Guys like you are what the game's all about. I really appreciate you being on the show.
Yeah, thanks, Billy. Thank you for having me on, and just thank you for all of your coverage as well throughout the seasons and everything, and doing this. I think people don't realize how much work it is. So, and I know a lot of us are really appreciative of that. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Carter. That means a lot. That's Carter Kent, Concordia Bulldog basketball. Thank you, Carter.
Thanks, Billy.